Okay, so just kind of a little caveat here at first, it's going to be a lot of slides on PowerPoint. I didn't want to rely on the internet just in case ScoutBook was down or there was some hiccup with that. So there's a lot of slides, but hopefully in seeing those slides, it'll help you see just exactly how to go through the process. Okay, can everyone see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, all righty. So just a quick overview here. What is ScoutBook? It's primarily targeted at the units to go over advancement, attendance, the camping logs, and help with finances, which for some units is kind of a new thing that we're having to do. Tracking the boys' positions of responsibility for their different rank advancements, calendaring, and so much more that you can do with it. ScoutBook was something that you had to have a paid subscription for, but now that is free to all units. It integrates with the council records, which is really nice. At one point when you were trying to go through Eagle paperwork and fill out that application, you were hoping that you had your dates all right and the hunting down blue cards and all of that. But now, once you enter those merit badges or the Cub Awards in, it's synced with council right away. So that's been really nice. It is mobile friendly, so it doesn't matter if you're on your phone or if you're on a laptop or some other device. And it's available to everybody. So parents and youth can all see what the leaders are seeing, as well as the merit badge counselors. Okay, so welcome to ScoutBook. This is what the login looks like. It's scoutbook.com is the link you go to. And right over here, we see the login. So that's where you're going to click. As a den leader, this is something that's been a beta test. So if you're a den leader, you can click there to log in and access some different information. But this is primarily the main login that you'll go to. This is what the login screen looks like. A lot of times they have a one login option where the login that you use for my.scouting.org is the same thing that you can use here to register for ScoutBook. All right, so one thing that I want to just bring up before we do anything else, one question was, can commissioners have access to ScoutBook even if they don't have a particular role within the unit? And the answer is yes. You're added under a unit commissioner, and the unit determines any connections and admin roles. Just one note, be sensitive about it. You are there to support the unit. If you get some leader that's really stubborn and doesn't want to give you access to that, that's their choice. And you might have some units on the flip side that are really excited to have you there to help answer questions and support. So just kind of play it by ear. And like I said, be sensitive to that. Okay, the process for adding a unit commissioner. When you go to your main unit page, in this case, I'm using a lot of the troop pages rather than Cubs, but it's going to, or a crew or a ship, but it's the same process. You'll click on your troop roster right down here. And like I said, this has to be done by the unit. This is the roster view. If you scroll down the page, you'll see a link that says add leader, and that's where you need to go and click on that. This is the page for adding a new leader. One thing I do want to mention that's really important, and it avoids a lot of confusion later on, search for existing adults right here. If they're already in there, it'll show up with their name, first and last name, and what council they're part of to help you make sure that you've got the right person. If they're already in there, like you as commissioners, if you've already registered with ScoutBook, you would show up and it would be very easy for them. So then you would just search for that new adult, find the name, click on it, and away you go. If they're not in there, this is where you put in their first and last name, email. As you scroll down the page, this right here is positions, and this is where they would select you as a unit commissioner. They can give you a role as an admin or a patrol admin or a den admin, depending on how much help they're going to need. These admin roles are going to give you access to all of the tools that ScoutBook can do. Down here a little bit more, we have Scout Connections. This is where they can select, the unit can select how much control they want to allow you to have. And that will be determined by how much help they need and how familiar they are with ScoutBook. Are there any questions with that part of it, getting connected with the unit?
Can a commissioner be on more than one?
Yes. Yes. It's like myself, and it's the same with other units. So right now I'm registered with a crew and a ship and, well, a troop, and then I will be with the pack also, and I can have access to all of those. Oh, okay, so backing up a little bit, once you first log in, the homepage is the very first thing that you're going to see. And this right here, my dashboard, is going to give you access to all the unit information and tools. So this is what the dashboard page looks like. If you have children that are in scouting, this is where you will see your family. And this is where you'll see any units that you're associated with. I'm going to come back to that here in a few minutes. This leads to a whole bunch of other things. So we're just going to keep moving forward and then come back. This second link here back on the home page will take you to my.scouting.org. So you can access that directly from here. If you've logged in using that single sign-on, then you won't have to keep logging into all the different resources. This takes you to your personal training. So if you need to check on your youth protection or something, you can all access that from right here. Internet advancement, this is one thing that I know a lot of people have had questions about. This takes you to the other ScoutBook, and this is what that looks like. So those of you that have been working with things and trying to add campouts and stuff, this is where that takes you. And this is kind of a separate, right now, Internet Advancement and ScoutBook are kind of separate entities a little bit, but they're working on condensing them. One is built on an older stack platform and the other one's on a newer one. So they're trying to reconcile that and get it all in one. So that will continue to change as they make adjustments there. Forums, this is a really important one. This is where you're going to go to find answers to your questions, or if your units have questions and aren't sure how to use ScoutBook, this is a really good place to send them. It's just some information here. You need to be logged in order to ask your own questions. And if you are logged in, then you have an option of selecting and requesting to receive updates on any questions that you've asked. And so they will just send you an email that somebody responded, here was the response. So it's easy to get access to your answers. So this is what when you click on the scouting forms, this is what it takes you to. And like I said, here's the little place to log in. This here gives you access to specific program questions. So you can just click on that there. But I want to scroll, if you scroll down on that page, it gives you additional information, particularly on ScoutBook. So if your unit or you have questions specifically about how to use ScoutBook, this is where you go to select that. So when you click on that, then it gives you different new requests. If you have ideas for new features that you'd like to see, you can put that in here. If there's bugs, you can put that here. But for now, we're going to select using ScoutBook. And this is the page that it brings you to. So you can see other questions that people have asked. Or if you come up here to new topic, you can add your own question. If we do that, then it brings up this form right here. And the first couple times you use it, it gives you this guideline right here to just kind of help you figure out how to format it. So you just add your question here, add your tags, and then ask your question and submit it. And you will start getting responses. So it's very quick, it's very easy and very convenient. Any questions about that part of it, about adding your own question or finding answers?
What are the tags?
So if you click here for tags, so if you're in this section, you automatically have ScoutBook and using ScoutBook selected. But over here, if there's something about, if you have a question about camping or how to add finances or something like that, that would be an optional tag that would show up in this little drop down here. It's not required, but sometimes it just can be helpful for other people who are looking at the questions to help them recognize what the topic is.
Mary Jane has a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Where I'm wondering in these forums, is this a place to like where you could put feedback on user interface, you know, where it's like, oh, this is the issue I keep running into and it's sending me in a circle, you know, just to make the programmers aware? Is this
Yes.
a place to post something like that?
Yes, there is. If right here, ScoutBook bugs, that's a place where you can put that and let them know that there is an issue.
So I'm following on my login as well, but I am not seeing that ScoutBook bugs.
Okay, so if we back up, and I'm not sure where you're at, so I'm going to just go all the way back. So if you click on that link on forums from the home page, this is what it brings you to.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
there.
and then scroll down to ScoutBook.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I promise I'm paying attention.
No, you're fine. That's okay. I'm glad you asked. So then if you just select that, then there's on this next menu, there's the ScoutBook bugs right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then just so you're aware too, this is being recorded. So if you need to go back at some point, you'll have access to all of this to kind of look through it and refresh again. Okay, now also underneath ScoutBook, there is a section for BSA commissioners. So if you have questions, this can be a great resource for you as well. It's not necessarily specific to ScoutBook, but there, as you can see, there is, you know, we're sharing with your ScoutBook units is one of the topics here. So if you click on that, this is what that unit commissioner forum looks like. Okay, backing up to our home page again, we're looking at this main menu. Somebody ahead of time had asked a question about what the latest changes are to ScoutBook. This change log right here is where you're going to want to go. If you click on that, it brings you to this list here, and it'll show you all of the latest updates that they've done to the ScoutBook program. For this, we're just going to select this one here for a minute. So on February 21st, or on February 4th, they did an update because there was an issue with an email outage. So it'll tell you what, if it's fixing a bug or if it's a new feature that they've just added. Any questions about that? I can't remember who it was that had asked that question.
Yeah, Mary Jane has got a thumbs up, so.
Okay, perfect. Okay, back to our homepage again, legacy forums. This is the same type of thing as this forum here before. This is just old questions before the BSA took over the ScoutBook program. This is a lot of the questions that had been asked at that point. So with these legacy forums, you can't respond to them. You can't make any changes, but it's just additional information. You know, somebody might have asked a question that you have, so you could find it there. Okay, this directory, you can find different councils and districts nationwide. So it's just kind of a phone book, kind of the directory. This is references. This can be beneficial, just a quick access. You have Cub Scouts or Scouts BSA or Venturing and Sea Scouts. We'll select Cub Scout, or we'll select the Scouts here, but it'll show you the law, oath, motto, slogan. If you can't remember the outdoor code, you can look it up here really quick. Aims and methods of scouting, we talk about a lot, but I don't know if everyone remembers it really quickly. So this is a great place to just come and refresh your mind. It can look over advancement. It'll show you all the requirements, and it has the merit badges down there as well. Same thing is true with Cub Scouts or crews and ships. Same type of information. Okay, and this general information, it's not, the forms are going to be much more helpful. This is just very general. So there is a thing that help with ScoutBook. This is where things I think get a little confusing sometimes, is because you can access different things different ways, but they kind of all end up coming into one. So I'll show this to you just really quick, just in case you run into this one, you've seen it before. But again, forums, I think, is my preferred way of accessing help. This help brings you to this here. There's some stuff on internet advancement or scouting resources. But if you select ScoutBook, it's going to take you to the scouting forums right there. So it's going to take you back to the same place that you were before. Okay, any questions about that first part? Otherwise, we're going to start diving into my dashboard and some of that stuff.
Can you still enter data in internet advancement?
When you say data, what kind of data do you mean?
Like rank advancement, merit badges?
You're much better doing it through my dashboard on the ScoutBook. And we can go over that too here if you'd like. I will be showing you more on internet advancement and showing you what is currently there. But they are encouraging you to use ScoutBook instead. Okay, so here's my dashboard. When you first click on my dashboard, you're going to have a little thing right here called administration. That's the one that's going to allow you to access your units. There is an option here to send messages. So if all of your leaders and parents have an email address or a cell phone number that you can text to here, you can click on that messages and it will allow you to send a message out to your whole unit or parts of it as you need to. We'll go on to administration. So like I said before, here's your units. Select whichever unit you're wanting to look at. And here is your main home unit page. We'd had some questions about using the calendar, so I want to look at that for a minute here. Right now, the way the calendar is set up, Key 3 members are the only ones who can add calendar events. They're looking at, and the secretaries, they're looking at changing that at some point here, but it's not anything that's on the schedule right now. So if you come up here and click to upcoming events, oops. Okay, it brings you up to a calendar. So when you're going to add an event, you select whichever dates you're going to have the event, and then it'll bring you up a menu like this. So if you click on calendar here, the calendar means which unit or what part of the unit are you talking about. In this case, it could be an entire troop or it could be a patrol. So you click that one. These menus are a little awkward. You have to scroll through them. You can't just type in your answer. So just scroll through it, get to the one you want, click on it, and then click set. Okay, so now we're showing, now we have our troop. We're going to plan a camp out. They have the event types already pre-entered for you. So you just go through and select which one applies. You can have a location. You can put in a map if you want to. Here on this, if you have an external guest, if you have a guest speaker or somebody else that's coming, you can include them on this list so that when you send out information about it, they will get it as well. Again, here you plan your start and end dates. And this allows you right here, allows you to pick who you're inviting. If you click right here, so right now this is only showing our leaders and our youth. But if you click this, it can allow you to extend it to parents and others as well. You can select an RSVP if you would like, and you can select if a permission slip is required, depending on what kind of activity is. If we scroll down further on that page, you'll see we can select outdoor activities if it's a service project, if you're using the patrol method. A lot of this will help you with your journey to excellence tracking for the units. You can also manage advancement as well. So if you're planning, if the unit's planning on working on a merit badge, or if they're going to be working on a Cub Scout adventure, you can put that in there. And that's one way to track what you've been doing. This here is your invitation message that would go out to everybody, or if there's any details that only the leaders need to see, you can put that here, and then you would just click save. Any questions on that? Okay. So just wanted to show you the permission slips really quick here. If you click on that permission slips, it'll bring you to something that's already filled out with your information, your activity information, and then you just have to give it out to the parents, have them sign it, and you're done. They don't have to take the time to fill it out, make sure they've got everything right. It's just ready to go. Okay, once you've saved your activity and you go back to your main unit page, you'll start to see those activities here in the calendar. If you click
John
on
Susi
that,
has a question.
sure. What's the question?
Sorry, I had to get myself on mute.
No, that's okay.
So my question is along, Jennifer Harris also asked, it's a question about how to remove either adults that are no longer in your units, or I have units that no longer are in existence that still show up on my account. How do we remove stuff from our dashboards?
For that, you're going to have to talk to the council. At one point, you could just delete adults, you could just delete youth, but we're now it's synced up with the council rosters that, like with the charter, you need to talk to the council to work on with them on that.
Do you mind if I make a comment on that?
Sure.
You can also remove yourself as a leadership position in that troop, and it will leave your unit. Like it will take it off your dashboard.
Yes, for you as an adult, correct. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, what was that one more time?
If you go into the former troop or pack that you were a part of, you can remove yourself in the leadership position.
Oh, okay.
And then it no longer appears on your dashboard.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So if you click on back to the calendar, if you have an event there already, you can click on that and get more details. So one thing that's kind of cool, especially if you're planning outdoor activities, it will actually give you the weather. So you can kind of plan accordingly. Here you can click, this is the RSVP. And so individuals can do that on their own, or you can do that. And question mark if they're not coming, and no if they're not. So you can kind of get a feel for how many people to plan for. Once you've done that, you just click save, and that'll help you track that.
Can the youth RSVP?
Yes, they can, as long as they have an account, but they have to have permission from their parents to set up a youth account. Okay, so then as a leader, when you're looking at it and you look to see the details, this is what you would see. You would see who has, and names would show up as well, but for interest of this and trying to be I can't even think of the word.
Anonymous.
Yes, yes, thank you. No names are showing up here. Now, once you've put your event in after the meeting, or even after it started, you don't have to wait till the meeting's over, but this little button here will show up and will allow you to take attendance. So if you click on that, you can start clicking on the people and it'll star whoever's come. And then it will give you an attendance bar up here and you can see what percentage of your troop or your unit has shown up. And this information will also feed into the attendance report. So you can print that report off and see what percentage of the time each individual has been coming. So there was a question about attendance that someone had asked. Did that answer that question satisfactorily? Okay, we'll take that as a yes, hopefully. So back to this unit page. You have your top section here, which is where you'll see your patrols and any calendaring. If you scroll down, it'll take you to additional information. So this is where you can send messages, access your roster, quick entry, access your troop reports, access blue cards, information like that. Really quick here, I want to look at the quick entry. When you click that quick entry, this is the list that comes up. This is where you can do rank requirements. Instead of having to add, say you have an activity and you've got 6 Cub Scouts that just worked on one of their adventures and they all did the same thing. Instead of having to go into each individually, you could click on, well, this is for the troop, but for the pack, it would have adventures and you could click on that and you could select all the boys that were there, select what they accomplished and save it, and it would enter everybody all at once instead of having to do it individually. So that's something that's really handy. For the troop side, you can do rank requirements. You can do merit badges, entire merit badges. So if you go to scout camp and you've finished, 5 merit badges for each boy, this is a quick way to just do that whole merit badge. Or if they've only done some requirements, you can do that here also. Same thing with awards, and activity logs and payment logs. So I want to look at activity logs for a second. This is where confusion has come in. ScoutBook has changed how you add those activity logs. And now when you click on that, it sends you over to Internet Advancement. And just for the record, there are names here, but they're obviously not the right names. So just disclosure there. When you want to add an activity, come over here and click on activity. This will take you to a page that looks like this. And this is the button that you're going to click to add those activities. So you have the option of camping, hiking, or service hours. For this, we're going to add a camp out. So you click on that and it takes you to a calendar. If you have an activity, I think they're working on syncing the calendars. So if your calendar shows up here and your activity shows up, great. If not, you're going to click create new activity. So you put in your information here, when it's starting, when it's ending, the location, any other additional information that's going to be part of that. And then you're going to add your people. The icon is different for the youth as from the adults. So here would be an adult and here's a youth. You click on whoever's attending and then it shows you them in a list down here. And then you would save that and it will track. So here for this camp out, we would have 39 participant days and 26 participant nights. So with that many, with the 2-nighter, 13 people coming, that's how they're calculating that. So that's how you record campouts. The same thing is true for if you're doing the service hours or hikes. like once you get used to the idea of coming over to internet advancement, it's not too difficult of a process. It's just learning and recognizing the difference and navigating it a couple times, and then typically you're okay. Okay. Back to the quick entry and recording fees and payments. For a number of units, this is kind of a new thing. We haven't really had to do this in the past. So if you click on quick entry, we go to enter payment logs. So this first part, this is the top part of the page. It will show you all of your individuals. You can select them all, or if there's just a couple that you need to add stuff for, that's where you can do that. Scrolling down the page, or if you click on adding that entry or scrolling down, you have the choice to record a payment or record an amount due. They do recommend that you record the amount dues first, and that way it just makes the process a lot easier, and it's easier to fill in the required information and process the payments. So you can put in a description for what it is, you can track it, put in your amount, the category or label. This is something that you can choose, you can create these, but it's something to help categorize what it is that the money is being charged for. If it's linked to an event like a scout camp, you can specify that here, and then you can select your payment due date. And then you would click update, and that would add, if you had 20 boys that you were doing this to, it would add that amount owed to all 20 boys. On that same page, if you select record a payment instead, then it gives you which, what is the money going towards that they just paid, a check or transaction number so that you can have a paper trail, which category or label it is, and then apply payment to. This is why it's important to put in those amounts owed before putting in your payment, because it will pull that information and will let you see fees that have already been associated with the account. Questions on this data entry part of it? Okay. Now, if you look at say we look at a youth and look at their profile, under their payment log, it will show them an amount due or amount, or if they don't owe anything. If you click on that, then it will give you all the details for what they owed, so they can see what they've been charged in the past, what they've paid, and what they currently owe. So that's handy for families as well. Any questions about payments or fees? Troop reports. This is another thing where it links you over to internet advancement. So from your main unit page, if you click on the reports, go to your menu. These are all the different reports that you can access from here. Starting from the bottom though, this trained leader status or youth protection status, this will pull information from the my.scouting or from that site, and it will show you exactly where the leaders are at, when their youth protection is due, what percentage of training you're at. Audit log, this is where it will let you see any changes that have been made to the unit ScoutBook account. So any merit badges that have been approved, it'll let you see who's doing what. Here's your attendance report, your activity log reports, again, the payment report. This is one thing, Terrell, I think you had asked about this. These are the 3 important ones for purchasing and awarding your advancements and other awards. So we're going to look at those 3 for a second here. We'll start with the needs approval report. When you click on that, this is what it brings you up to. And any requirements that boys have passed off, well, youth, that youth have passed off and have not been approved by a leader will show up here. If it has not been approved, it will not show up on your needs purchasing report. So it's important to make sure that you check this before trying to make your purchase. You can look at them individually and see, what they're doing. If there's one that has a whole bunch and you're not sure what was going on, you can check that. Otherwise, you can just approve everybody all at once and you're good to go. Just a little reminder here, many of you are probably already familiar with this. If a green check mark is showing up by a requirement, that means that it's been recorded, but it hasn't been approved by a leader. And leaders are the only ones that can approve that. If you've had a unit in the past where you've got a kid who's doing a whole bunch of stuff, but they're not following the process, or somebody's just marking off a whole bunch of stuff and there's questions as to whether or not they really did it. And this is a great way to kind of audit that. So once it's approved by a leader, it turns blue. Once it's been purchased and awarded, then it turns yellow. So just kind of a little key on that. So once you've approved everything, you can go to the needs purchasing report. And this is where you can select all the awards that are earned but haven't been purchased. If it's already been assigned to a purchase order, then it will have a purchase order number beside it. If you scroll down, right here is where it gives you the option to create a purchase order. So select what you want to add to that and then click create purchase order. Once you click that purchase order, this is the report that you will get. And this is what you can print out and take to the Scout office or the Scout shop and have them pull for you. You can do it by, there's a couple different ways that you can sort that purchase order. Let me see if I did it. Okay, I didn't select it there. It's on the next one, I think. But you can sort it by individual boys, or you can sort it by merit badges or adventures. So here's how you can do it. You can organize it by patrol, group it, show prices, whatever fits your needs, you can adjust that here. And then you click save and update. Once you have gone to the store and you've made that purchase, then you make sure that you come back and click close purchase order. Otherwise, you'll have multiple items out there and you're not necessarily sure if you purchased it once or if you haven't. And that's when things get messy and you can make duplicate purchases or miss something. So just be aware that make sure you close your purchase orders when you're done. And the other thing too, you can click advancement report here, and this will print out the old forms that you had to take to the council when you made your purchases with board of reviews or anything like that. This is all filled out for you, all ready to go.
Could you print the report by item like merit badge, rank, and then when you get home, print out one by boy?
So are you talking when you're making the purchases or when you're preparing to award them?
Well, when I go to the store, I would like a list of how many citizenship nation I need.
So that's
When
right
I get
here.
home, I need to sort them by boy to hand them out. Can I print two different reports?
Yep.
Once,
You would just,
does that have to happen before I delete the purchase order?
I don't delete the purchase orders, because then if I ever have a question about if I purchase something, or if there's ever any question that comes up, I can look back, I can pull it up and I can see it. So that's just me. You can delete it if you want
Mark them
to.
as done, but you don't delete them.
Right. Once it's closed, then you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's not going to show up again. It's not going to mess up your purchases, but you have a record of what you have purchased and who earned what.
I'm assuming that it has to be completely approved before it'll show up on a purchase order.
Correct. If it's not approved, it will not show up.
Did you see the remaining time?
Nope, thank you. We're gonna go really fast then. You can print out your pocket certificates there too if you want to. You can go back and view an open purchase order, and this is where you can, as long as you haven't closed it, you can go back and you can print different views of the same thing. And here's the needs awarding report. And you can see who gets what. The merit badge counselor list, this is back to your main unit page. If you're in Scouts or the BSA or Scouts BSA, you can do the merit badge counselor list. And this is where you can select the merit badge counselors, and this will bring up any counselors in your area that you're looking for. So it's a great way to connect with, and then see, so this is the page, it would have their information here. A great way to connect with them that way. The report builder, sorry guys, I'm going super fast. I want to just cover this with you. Internet advancement, new Scouts report. Click on a new one. It'll allow you to pick whatever information you want in there. You can track whether boys have their physical forms even. So there's all kinds of things that you can do with that. Select what you want, click save or run, and then you can print reports like this. So this would be for us, this is one that I did to see exactly where our boys were on the required merit badges. So just at a glance, I could see which ones we needed to work on. So any questions here in the last couple minutes that we have? Anything that we can answer? Anything?
I don't see anything on the chat.
Okay. Well, I hope that's what you guys were hoping for. I hope that answers questions you had. If you do have any other questions, like I said, those forums are a great place to go. That can be really helpful. Or, you know, if there's people in your area that you know of that are good with ScoutBook, grab them. And good luck. Thank you for coming, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.